Hey everyone, my name is ANDREI DAESCU and this is ATP.
That's a great question. I never thought about it. I'm definitely inclined towards making it a team event just because I really enjoy team events. It's always a work in progress, so you always got to look after your body. You always got to put in the reps for new things. The game is obviously constantly changing, developing. Paddle technology is constantly changing.
So how were you first introduced to pickleball?
There were a couple of members there who I think played on the cruise ship. So they wanted to do it. We used to do some like plastic, some scotch tapes on the hardcore, the tennis hardcore.
What's the best pickleball advice you received? How long have you been in Florida?
I've been living in Florida since May of 2015.
And then before that?
I was in New York for a short stint. I was in Europe for a little while. And then 2007 to 2010, I went to school at the University of Oklahoma.
University of where?
Oklahoma.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Did you play tennis there?
Yeah.
Awesome. And how did you like that?
I thought it was great. Great facilities, great program, super competitive, great campus, good university. So.
When you were in college, did you have the aspects of going pro for tennis?
Yeah.
Or was
yeah.
pickleball?
Definitely. No, and I played
kind of like in this.
No, pickleball wasn't even on the radar back then. Yeah, and then I've played pro tennis for about 4 years. And then I had a shoulder surgery. I stopped in 2015.
Oh, geez.
Ish, and then I discovered pickleball about a year and a half later, like late 2016 is when I started.
What happened with the shoulder?
Just overuse. A lot of things that didn't go well with it.
Pickleball's easier on your body.
Well, yeah, because there's not a whole lot of overhead. So
yeah. And when you do, you put them away.
Hopefully, I put them away, and then it's also, like I said, it's not a ton of overheads, and it's a lighter ball, it's a lighter paddle, so it's not as tough. Yeah.
So how were you first introduced to pickleball?
It's just kind of picking up in Florida, late 2016. West coast of Florida was definitely a little quicker to pick it up. And then it started to work its way over to the East Coast where I was at. It was just a tennis club I was working at. And there were a couple of members there who I think played on the cruise ship. So they wanted to do it. We used to do some like plastic, some scotch tapes on the hardcore, the tennis hardcore.
On the tennis net.
Yeah. And they wanted to do an exhibition. We ended up bringing 2 pros over, and then they wanted to show some doubles as well. And they asked
who were the pro players that had?
Man, I forget at that time. It was a long time ago, and they needed 2 more pros to kind of play in to show some doubles. And I jumped in. I was like, man, this is a lot of fun. I should sign up for a tournament. So I signed up for a tournament a couple of weeks after that, and then it kind of just snowballed from then on.
Yeah, and then the rest is history.
Exactly right. That's exactly right.
So at that point, you were just like, pickleball was just kind of on the side. You were discovering it. And then when did you draw the line of making the jump to go full pro to pickleball?
Pretty much when the APP Tour got established, and then Major League Pickleball came along as well, and it just more entities got established. The prize money was better. It became a serious thing.
More sustainable than tennis?
Yeah. I mean, I was teaching tennis at the time, and I figured if I could compete again, whatever I have left in my body, try to give it a go. So 2019 is when I started really getting serious about it.
Yeah. So what did that seriousness look like? Was that like drilling more?
Yeah, I mean, everything. More events. Obviously, it starts with tournaments, just playing more tournaments. And then, drilling more, spending more time looking after my body, conditioning, stuff like that. So it's kind of like altogether just a different approach to the whole thing.
Did you find yourself liking singles or doubles when you first
I've played some singles at the start. Like every tennis player, it's an easier transition to go into singles. So I found it a lot easier to go into singles at the start. But then I think doubles is a lot more fun. So I've been playing a lot more doubles, mixed doubles. And enjoying it more than singles for sure.
Yeah. Speaking of mixed doubles, you and Rob, you guys are a great team. When and how did that start?
So that's not mixed doubles though.
Oh.
Yeah, that's all right. But for men's doubles with Rob, I started. We basically started kind of like halfway through this year. We played a lot of tournaments against each other at the start of the year. We were both playing very well. We're both kind of getting better with those tournaments, and he plays very well on the right, and I like to play the left. So we figured why not give it a go, and we gave it a go, and it kind of clicked from the beginning.
What was the first tournament you guys did together?
That's a great question. I forget exactly the first one. I I think it was Cincinnati maybe, but I don't remember exactly. But it was earlier in the year, around May is when we started. And like I said, it kind of clicked. Games clicked, attitudes clicked.
Yeah.
We gelled very well. We had a good time on the course. So then we just said, you know what, let's stick with it and do it. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So, what would you say is a drill that really took your game up the next level? Whether that be when you were like an amateur player to the pro, or like from pro.
A drill?
Yeah,
just a drill itself.
Yeah.
It's tournament play. That's the
tournament play for you.
100%. Well, I think it's for a lot of people because you can replicate that pressure that you're under when you play tournaments. So when you do drills at home, obviously those are super important. You should do the drills, but there's nothing that can reproduce that match atmosphere when you play a tournament. So I think that's by far the best way to practice. And then then after that you go home and you get your reps through the drill. And that's always work in progress, and that's always a changing environment because, let's say your soft game is getting better, then you got to work on the fast game. And your fast game is getting better, you work on transition. And there's always something else. So it's not like something you're stuck on for a while. But, just put the repetition in for the thing you need to be working at the time, and then just come out to tournaments and try to apply it. So,
You still get nervous before games?
Oh, I think everybody gets nervous, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, what do you like to do to help with that? Is it music or routine?
Like everybody else, I have a warm-up routine. Some music sometimes definitely helps. But just going through my warm-up routine, I've been doing this for a while now, so you just accept it. You try to use it in a very productive way. Getting yourself pumped, getting yourself super intense mentally for getting yourself match ready. Sometimes music helps with that, and then sometimes you just kind of, again, I've done it for so many times that
you're locked in.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
What's your routine?
It depends how late in the tournament it is and how late in the day, but usually a lot of stretching involved and a little light hit before I go out. And if it's before the first match of the day, definitely playing some points, some practice points, and getting going with that as well.
Yeah, for sure. So you're traveling a lot, right?
Yeah.
On your days when you're able to be back home, you also have a routine on your off days, right?
Yeah. I still play. I try to play points. Probably every day when I'm there. I still try to drill once a day when I'm there.
What does your practice look like when you're back home?
So a lot of basket work just to get my reps in, and then definitely point play in the afternoon, and then conditioning. That's the nice thing when I'm not playing a tournament. I can afford to push my body much harder in conditioning, and whether it's on court, sprints and stuff like that, whether it's gym works. But that gives me the luxury to push my body because I can be sore the next day without any repercussions. I cannot be sore for a tournament.
Exactly. Yeah. And with being sore, recovery is like a big part of that.
Recovery is definitely super important. That's how you avoid injury. So you got to listen to your body. You got to do the right things. You got to be smart with your volume of training, depending on how your body's feeling. Yeah.
What's your recovery process like?
I think stretching is very important. I think ice baths and maybe heat. I think that combination between hot and cold, I think, is really important. Some sports massages, and then at the end of the day, you can't go by rest. It's just you just have to rest. You got to take some time off. You got to get your sleep. I think rest is still the number one when it comes to recovery. But there's other things you can do to help it out for sure.
Yeah, awesome. What would you say is the best advice the best pickleball advice you received?
Playing tournaments again. That's kind of what I've been told by other people. When I decided to kind of make the jump and play full time, and try to figure out the process and how I should go about it. That's what everybody said. Just play a lot of tournaments. It's not a sprint; it's a marathon. Play your matches, learn. Be in the mix there the whole time. Learn. Try to absorb all the information you get in tournaments and watch a lot of video, and that's definitely the best advice I got for sure. Yeah.
So with your career wanting to be a marathon, what are some of the next mile markers you see in your career?
Look, like I said, getting better, it's always a work in progress. So you always got to look after your body. You always got to put in the reps for new things. The game is obviously constantly changing, developing. paddle technology is constantly changing. So,
Shout out to Proton.
yeah, shout out to Proton, exactly. Yeah, the game is played a little different than maybe 2 or 3 years ago in certain aspects, and you want to keep sharpening up in those aspects, and then you also want to be looking for the new stuff that's coming up and just be on top of it. So, it's just the process of getting better. That's what it is.
What do you think are some of those new things that are going to be coming up other than paddle?
Other things in
in the sport of pickleball.
so what?
Because it has changed a lot. You're right.
What do I think is going to happen? Or it's hard to say. I mean, the paddle is obviously the biggest thing that's changing and has changed a lot in the last few years.
Did you try the owl one?
Interestingly enough, did I try the owl one? I played around with it just because I was curious about the sound. Yeah.
Cool.
So it's an interesting technology to try out. Yeah. Yeah, it should be interesting to see how the whole thing is going to play out.
If you could make your own pickleball event, what would you name it? And what was what would be some defining factors?
That's a great question. I never thought about it. I'll name it the Daescu Open, I guess. And I'm definitely inclined towards making it a team event, just because I really enjoy team events. So whether it's US against the world, or whether it's other things, I think that's kind of fun to do it out.
USA versus Team Canada.
Something like that. I think would be cool.
Or state by state too.
That too. I mean, just some kind of team event. Like I said, I didn't really put that much thought into it. I never thought about running my own tournament, but I would definitely like some kind of team event. I think that would be cool.
And if it wasn't pickleball, what sport would you want to go pro in?
If it wasn't for pickleball, what sport would I want to be part of? I like all sports in general. Obviously, tennis is one I spend most of my time into. So tennis is a great sport, but I enjoy basketball a lot. I think soccer is a great sport as well. So I think just sports in general is where I would find myself. It's a nice field to be in, for sure.
So I asked you about the best advice you received on the pickleball, about pickleball and on the court. What's the best advice you received off the court and just in general?
Just take it one day at a time. Do the best you can. Don't get too high on the wins. Don't get too low on the losses. And like I said, just take it one day at a time. I think that's key. You could go. I mean, sports in general and pickleball too. You could go through a lot of really good times, but a lot of really bad times as well. And you just got to be in it for the long run. So Awesome. So I think that's probably the best advice I got.
Cool. Solid. That's very good advice. And so now we're going to a section called Bag Talk.
Okay.
And so I'm glad you brought your bag. So could you bring your bag over here?
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, we can go through your bag and then see what some of the stuff is that you bring for tournaments, why you bring it along.
Okay.
And we can start first with the bag.
Okay.
It's a Proton bag, right?
Bag is a Proton Tour bag. Pretty
awesome.
straightforward, like every other pickleball bag. Got my 3 compartments here. Got my dirty laundry compartment there. Should have the paddles in here. There you go. Got the paddles. It's a must. I got some snacks in here. Got my lead tape. This is really important to have it with you at all times.
How do you like to position your lead tape?
It depends on where I'm playing, the conditions and all that kind of stuff.
So you have a different lens setup for this tournament than you do for an
For sure, especially for indoors, 100%.
Okay.
Yeah. And then got my shoulder bands here. Keep myself nice and loose. Keep the shoulder strong. I got, what is that? I got the hip bands, for hip strength and flexibility.
Do you like to use those to warm up?
Got a ball. Yeah, to warm up, for workouts. Yeah, I use them quite a bit, yeah. And then here I got a lot of the towels, extra clothing, definitely some heavy duty clothing. It's cold here in Chicago.
Oh yeah, I know, it's freezing.
Yeah. Some stuff to change into, shirts, shorts, all the good stuff. Another ball, you gotta have those.
Yes.
Yeah.
Duras.
Exactly. Duras for sure, yeah. Big fan of the Duras. And then here I should have my my laptop and my chargers and all that kind of stuff to just stay connected with the rest of the world. So
Do you like to record yourself when you play?
I don't record myself personally, but the matches that are recorded, I like to go back and watch it for sure.
To go back and watch it.
Yeah.
Awesome, cool.
Yeah,
Well, thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thanks.